She just arrived like 3 days ago.
Ah, okay. Good. Hello, JD.
Yes, teacher.
Yes. Okay, please share with us something important you did last week.
Okay, the last weekend I was visiting my grandparents. I share all the Saturday and all the Sunday with them. And the Monday, I am back here to my house and I do the activities of the university, teacher.
Okay, good. Daniel,
Yes, teacher. Good
hi
evening.
Daniel. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thanks.
Okay. Daniel, please share with us something you did last weekend.
Last weekend, last weekend as always, I stayed at home. I watched some TV. I did some activities. I practiced some English, and I developed some activities for this week for my students. And that's
Uh-huh.
it.
Okay, same as ever. Same as ever.
The same
Okay.
as ever. Okay.
Yeah. Jonathan, did you watch the video and answer the quiz?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Mhm. How about the video? Please summarize it for us.
Well, in the video is about the third part. The candidate is asked about important events and celebrations
Uh-huh.
in a person's life. And the interviewer gives us some advices in order to do good in this last part of the IELTS test. For example, he says that if you are going to take notes, the idea is that you use the notes because sometimes students forget to use the notes. So it is very good. You need to have a good language body.
Uh-huh.
And for example, if for example in this last part the questions are not always the usual, so he says that
Uh-huh.
a good advice is to say, "That's an interesting questions. Just let me think about one second about it." So that's it.
Mhm. Good. Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks a lot. JD, what can
Yes,
you
teacher.
tell us about the video you watched?
Okay, the video and the audio it is about the interview of the exam ELs. And in the interview, the girl take his time. She knows secure of his answers. And then they finish the interview. The source make a conclusion about the different moment of the exam, and we can learn and about how to respond, how to win time, take note of the question maybe or the some words importance for don't forget anything. And the girls all in all the interview it is so kind, and I think that this is so important to have a good score in this type of exam, teacher.
JD, did you answer the quiz?
Yes, teacher. I
Okay.
answered the quiz.
Nice going.
Yeah.
Please don't tell me this your score. Daniel,
Yes, sir.
uh-huh. Please tell
Um,
us. Highlight the most important points you watch on the video.
yeah, well, as partner said, in that video appeared some pieces of advice about
Mm-hmm.
how to respond or how to behave in the IELTS speaking exam, and for example, taking notes or our body movement to express our responses.
Uh-huh.
Uh, they were the most important things I learned from that video.
Well done, Daniel. Thanks
Thanks.
a lot.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you so much.
Okay. Uh-huh. JD,
Yes, teacher.
did you have a good connection, JD? Okay. Hmm. Jonathan, Daniel. Let's see participant. Okay, guys, tonight we're gonna speak about IELTS Part 3. Okay? I'm going to ask you some questions. Those questions are related to the topic in Part 2, general questions. And you have around 4 or 5 minutes to talk. So please recall or remember that you have to try your best in this section about listening comprehension and speaking skills. Right? Okay.
Okay, teacher.
4 minutes. JD,
Yes.
tonight is your night. Okay? Ah. Don't scare about it. No talk
Okay,
at all.
teacher. Okay.
Okay, JD, let's talk about newspaper or magazine. Um, which newspaper or magazine do you read the most regularly?
Um, I regularly read the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
I usually read in my cell phones, in online. I like to read because I want to understand the different situations in my environment. When I read, I can improve and learn about different topics. And when I need to give opinions, I have more arguments or more ideas or critical opinions. And so for these parts, I prepare this type of
Uh-huh.
article. Maybe
Yeah.
it is the newspaper, teacher.
Okay, JD. Okay, good. I agree with you. But do you remember the name of an important newspaper in Colombia that,
Yes,
that you like? For
of course,
example,
teachers. Yes, I consider that the most important newspaper in Colombia it is the El Espectador.
El
I think,
Espectador.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I
Why?
think that is a good newspaper because it's neutral. It
Mm-hmm.
is now about the right policy of left policy is neutral, and it is important to have a good idea about the what's happening in our environment, teacher.
Mm-hmm. Where do you like to read the newspaper if you do it regularly?
Sorry, teacher, I can hear.
Where do you like to read a newspaper? Or
Where?
where would you like to read a newspaper?
Okay, teacher. I prefer read this paper when I have time, maybe in my lunch. I review the different social media and I search the different articles in this newspaper in the Espectador.
Okay. Lady, the Espectador, the newspaper, has many sections or parts.
Yeah.
Which of them would you like to read the most?
Sorry, teacher.
The
It's raining. It's
newspaper is
raining here.
divided into many parts.
Yeah. Yes, teacher. It's divided into many parts and
For instance,
Okay. The newspaper El Espectador is divided in different parts like police, economic, opinions, um,
Mhm. Sports.
sports. Yeah. Other important part that the people like it is about the I forget the word. I don't remember. Um, okay, I'm sorry about the famous and the different people of the television and the cinema teacher.
Mhm. JD, with the you know the internet is the most popular resource nowadays
Yes.
currently. So the popularity of it, with the popularity of the internet, do you think the newspapers and magazines will disappear in the future?
Yes, teacher. I think that yes, the globalization have advantages and disadvantages. In this case, for the newspaper or the article or magazine, I think that it is a disadvantage because the people prefers to read in a virtual mobile or online and don't like to buy the newspapers. So I think that in the future maybe we can found a newspaper in physics teacher.
Mhm. JD, thank you very much for your participation.
Okay, teacher.
You did a great job. Jonathan,
Yes, teacher.
uh, do you like to watch movies?
Yes, teacher. I like.
Oh, okay, let's talk about movies.
Okay, good.
What's the name of the film
Oh,
uh,
okay.
you like the most?
I like the films that are related with fantasy.
How come? Please tell us why.
I don't know, teacher. Since I was a child, I really enjoy watching films that, for example, from magicians, persons that have unnatural powers, and that kind of films are very attractive to me because
Mhm,
I feel like you can take your mind out of the reality, and you
mhm,
can have a kind of sense that you are likely to have this power, so you can imagine, and it is like the good sense. But I think that is it's because of that.
Okay. Jonathan, do you learn something from a film when you watch it?
In most of the films, yes, because for example, I well, for example, the last time that I watched a film, it was like 3 weeks 3 weeks ago, and I watched Malefica, and it was a great movie. Um, and well, every story always have like a moral thing that you need to learn from the movies. Which
Mhm,
usually movies have a if they don't have a moral learning to teach you, they offer you facts because there is a lot of kind of movies. For example, there are historical movies that you can learn facts. There are also I don't know, maybe um, like documentaries that you can obtain scientific information. So depending on the movies, you can have a kind of information.
mhm. Okay, good. Great, Jonathan. Jonathan, maybe I don't know. if you are the only person in life that haven't listened about Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan films. So, could you please tell us one difference between Chinese and American movies?
Chinese
Do
and
you consider
American.
there's a great difference between those films?
Well, I think that in Americans versus Chinese films, we can find a lot of difference because, for example, Chinese, we are always going to see like the culture that they are used in the culture and the physical appearance to start with because it is notable the difference between Americans and the Chinese culture. For example, they have the eyes they are quite small, and also the language as well as the clothes that they use, and they are very
Mhm.
different because when you are watching like a Chinese food, it is always like concentrated in the historical background. On the other hand, when we are going to watch an American movie, they are always tend to be related with, like Marvel, that they are the most famous films. So it is like more about um, fantasy, and they don't always try to show us what is the real culture. So I think that
Okay.
that would be like the difference between Chinese and American films.
Mhm. Jonathan, in addition to that, nowadays there are many violent films around the world, especially Hollywood films. So, what do you think of the violent films nowadays?
Well, I think that um, the violent films are, in my opinion, they are good because you need to be aware that outside the world, in some parts of the world, the reality is that. So you can obtain the information, be aware of the situations that are living. For example, I don't know if the film is about the war in Afghanistan or something like that. You have the chance to learn. On the other hand, these films, I think that they need to be regulated, and I'm sure that if, for example, if they are going to be exposed, if they are going to exposure them on a cinema,
Mhm.
they they are not always going to show like killings. They are going to be like quite, I don't know how to say that. They are going to try to avoid some parts that humans beings are not capable to see in order of avoid, I don't know, something like scary for us.
Okay, Jonathan, finally, your last question in this first participation. So, why movies need computer techniques? Any example of movie using computer techniques?
Yes, well, I think that movies needs computer techniques because, uh, for example, if we are going to see if there is a movie outside in the universe, obviously we need special techniques that computers are only able to make, because you need to show the universe, the stars, and things like that. So it is,
Mhm.
for that reason, I think it is very useful, and it is the mandatory, because we cannot have a filming people outside the world making those types of things.
Jonathan, sorry to interrupt you. Meaningful participation tonight. Okay, please wait for a couple of minutes for your second interview.
Teacher.
Okay, thanks a lot. Daniel,
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Are you sleepy?
No,
No?
no. I was worried because
Okay.
my Sky is not working very good tonight and it has been closing. I
Mhm.
don't know why. I've been a bit worried.
Okay, Jonathan, if you are sleeping right now, please wake up because we're going to speak about important inventions. Okay? Daniel,
Yes, teacher.
Daniel, you know, before that, we are in the era, on the computer era. But what happened before the computer? What was the most important invention for you before the computer?
Well, the most important invention before computer, I consider that it was radio, as
Uh-huh.
radio was the media people use to transfer, to inform things. Even though this invention was created in the Second World War, I don't know if it's correct, but
Mhm.
it was created during a war, excuse me. And that was really useful because it can transfer a lot of information from one place to another. And well, and after that, it became in an entertaining object when
Mhm.
appeared radio soap operas or music, and it was the object people used to inform about situations. The bad thing is that people couldn't understand if those situations that were informed through the radio was real or not. But after all, it was a really useful invention. Um,
Mhm.
it, for many performers, it was their starting in the world for musicians, singers, writers, and etc.
All right, Daniel, if I understood pretty well, you have just
Can you repeat it? I
for
couldn't
the
listen.
a computer was the radio was, right? So,
Right.
uh, could you please highlight some advantages and disadvantages of this invention? The radio, I mean.
Okay. Advantages was that almost every family had a radio, even though
Mhm.
the economy, no matter the economy was low, they had a radio that didn't stop them from being informed of situations. Um However, excuse me, as well as for example, many radio stations were located in every part of the country, even in every department. That's why every people could create their own advertisements to share with the others. Some disadvantages was about information. Information through radio couldn't be um, proved if they were real or they were just an invention. And sometimes the signal was awful. People couldn't be informed or couldn't listen to the news very well.
Mhm. Okay, Jonathan, I would like to ask you another question. Jonathan, listen, to be honest, in the or wherever place you go in the city, it doesn't matter if it is a college, a university, or a language institute, you see a computer, okay? Maybe in every house there is a computer. But what about the countryside? The farms, the not the urban, the rural area. Do you think it's necessary to develop modern invention in the countrysides? because there are many
Mhm.
farmers over there. Do you
Well,
understand my question?
yes, teacher. I understood it so well. Um, well, as I
Jonathan, I'm
live,
talking about people who don't live in the cities. They live outside of it, around the cities.
Teacher, the question is for me, Jonathan,
Uh,
or for
no,
Daniel?
for
Daniel,
me,
Daniel.
yeah. Yeah, teacher, I understand. It's about people who live in farms or in the countryside, and you are
Yeah.
talking about technology, and then sometimes it's difficult for it to come there. Uh, yeah, given that from my point of view, I lived in a farm, and that's why signal wasn't good. And even though there are a lot of places that contain signal to receive internet or a lot of technology, there are some areas that is difficult even um, to install some technology devices or, for example, TV
With
or
the connection?
internet. Yeah,
Okay,
because of
okay.
the
Go ahead,
connection.
go ahead, go ahead. Take it easy.
Yeah, yeah, and the connection even can get there, and yeah, well, in that case, it's necessary to develop some devices that can bring that signal, that connection that is needed in farms, on farms, excuse me. And as sometimes those kind of people have trouble to be connected into internet, and they need to go from that side to another to get connection, and that could be very difficult because the new world that is really focused on technology.
Mm.
uh, for example, for instance, people who are assigned in this university, they sometimes have to travel for around 1 or 2 hours to get to a place
Mhm.
to connect to internet to develop activities, and then come back, and there are really an exhausting activity because of the connection, trees, or I don't know what causes that, but it's necessary to try to find
Daniel,
a yes, teacher.
Daniel, you are
Yes.
you are doing pretty well when answering my question. So I would like finally to ask you the last question for this term. So which skills do you want to study in the future?
Which skills do I want to study in the future?
Mm-hmm.
About what?
Any
Anything?
any skill? Yeah.
Uh, skills in the future. Well, I wanted to continue with languages,
Uh-huh.
and my next goal is to learn French. Even though I don't
Mm-hmm.
know about, for example, Spanish is a bit difficult for me to write tildes or stress words, but I don't know how I'm gonna do with French. But French is my next goal, and Japanese language is also my passion. I'm gonna study as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Daniel, thank you so much for
Thanks
your
for you.
interview. Okay. Let's continue with our second round. JD,
Yes, teacher.
JD, let's talk about the subject you are studying currently. So, what subject are you studying right now?
Any teacher in
Yeah.
different course or something? Okay, subject in this moment. I have been seeing um, a subject of the course academic writing. I think that it has a little difficulties material. So we need to develop favor tale, and I think that it is difficult to meet the skills, the grammar skills. So in this moment, we are structure the fairy tale and trying that the note is similar to other that maybe you can find in internet or something, because it is so
Mhm.
maybe response. So it is so large, and we in my group in particular have different obstacles in this part, teacher.
JD,
Hello. Yes.
explain why you are interested in it.
Okay. I'm interested in this part because I know that the grammar skill it is disadvantages in my learnings. So
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to learn and improve and absorbs all the elements, the tips, the structures, and the knowledge of my teacher and my partners for to have a great result in the last part of this course, teacher.
Mhm. Okay, talking, JD, about the system of education in Colombia, do you consider, is there any difference between the traditional and the modern educational system in Colombia?
Okay, teacher. For starters, I think that the educational in Colombia is so poor because the governments don't have the resource, the enough resource to offer a good education. About the traditional education and modern education, I think that it is more important and productive the modern education because we can integrate different um, approach. We can identify the different. Sorry, somebody have the microphones on,
Yeah.
please. Okay, so in the classroom with the modern education, we can identify the different type of learning of the students. We can use different resources like technology or material or didactic materials. Um, Before, just the teacher was in the classroom giving his class and I don't know, in the table in the traditional education. And so now the students have advantages in the teachers have a big space to improve his way to teach teacher.
Mhm. Okay, JD, great job, JD. Nowadays, you are a student, and according to the system of education, the student is the center of it. So that means you as a student have many teachers, okay? Many teachers around you. So, do you think it is necessary to give a comment or criticism to teachers? If you have to tell something to your teacher, maybe to improve his labor, so what would you say?
Yes, teacher. I
Or
think that it is a good way to make an evaluation. For example, in the school that I am making the practice, all the Fridays the students make peer observations. Some teachers don't like because they feels like agreed, and because I think it is important because one thing it is that I think about my way to teach, and maybe we can ignore some errors. If the other person can tell us about what happened and what they need to improve or make difference. So in not only in, like the teacher in this space like a partners, we can make a type of evaluation and know the different opinions about us learning teacher.
Okay. JD, thank you so much. Thank you for your explanation. You hit the nail on the head with your answerings. Okay, with your answers. Thank you. Jonathan,
Yes, teacher.
Jonathan, you are going to describe an interesting city you know and like. It doesn't matter if the city is here in Colombia or outside of it. I mean abroad. What is that city? What is the city?
Okay, the city is Stockholm. It is the
Uh-huh.
capital of Sweden, and the
Okay. Where is
uh,
it? Ah, in Sweden. Okay, go ahead.
well, I was there for 1 month, and I was in winter season. The city, it's very beautiful and it's very organized. For example,
Mhm.
when we are going to talk about transportation, it is cheap and it is very organized.
Uh,
Um,
Sorry, Jonathan. How did you go there?
okay, I went there because I was involved in a school exchange and I went
No, no.
by
How
plane.
did you go there? By plane, by bus, by ship?
No, by plane. I We have to make three different escalations. I don't know if that is the name in English.
Stops. You say stops or layouts? Layouts.
Layouts. We have to make three layouts.
Mm-hmm.
One was in Madrid, and the other one, I don't remember the name. And
Okay, don't worry.
the final one was to Stockholm, and it was by train.
Mm-hmm. But
And
you started, but your flight started from Bogota?
yes, from Bogota, him from the airport El Dorado.
Okay. Okay. Okay, what did you do there in Sweden?
Uh,
Stockholm.
well, I did a lot of things. One of them, in my case, I had to share with two families. One was like the very liberal family, and the other one was a very conservative family. And in the family that was real liberal, we went, for example, to the theater. We went to watch a play from Shrek, and it was a really good play. And for example, the dragon,
Uh-huh.
flew fire. If he was able to flew fire, and well, all the characters were like very creative and were very similar like in the film. Well, that was one of the things that I made. I also went to watch a hockey game. It was in a big stadium, and we sung we sang the song that is "We Were All Rock You," like the song that you hear every time in a hockey game.
Uh-huh.
We ate dogs, and we also went to skate it was in a forest, but well, I was not able because I don't even know how to skate, but I tried. And on the other hand, with the conservative family, we went to the church that is very strange
Mhm.
in a country like that because people tend not to believe in God. So we went to a church. It was almost empty, but there.
So,
Yes, teacher.
sorry, Jonathan. Sorry to interrupt you now. So, what about the language over there? Or did you need the service of a tourist guide? Please
Well,
comment.
teacher.
Please comment about that.
Okay. Before traveling there, and we the 15 students that were engaged in the project have a 1 year of preparation of English preparation. So we in my case I pay for private lessons in a place in Cajica that is called La Huaca. So I studied the whole year, and when I traveled there, most of the students, the Swedish students, they know a lot of languages. For example, they know Swedish, that is their language. They also know, most of them know French, German, and some of them knew a little of Spanish. And obviously, they all know English. They are very well prepared people. Yes, they are very very clever.
Jonathan, let me see if I understood you clearly. So before traveling to Sweden, you study some Swedish lessons
No.
before,
English,
no?
English lessons. I
English.
study English
Oh,
lessons. Yeah.
okay, okay. Um, Jonathan, let me know about what about the tourism industry over there? Tell us about the importance of traveling and tourism in that country, in that city.
Well, teacher, it is not very common to see a lot of tourists,
Uh-huh.
but because it is a very well developed country, so they doesn't need a lot of tourists in order to make their own economy. They are divided into. They also have monarchy, and well, and their own government, but the monarchy does not take decisions in doesn't take political decisions. They are just like they make the protocol and the ceremonies. In the and talking about the tourism part, I can say that, well, for example, there are many places to visit, but as I told before, they don't depend on that because they are pretty well developed. So in order to create their own economy without any tourism.
Mhm. Jonathan, 10 a million things.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, pretty participation. Daniel, please mention one museum in Bogota, Colombia. A museum. Would you like going to museum to visit?
Well, I'm interested in museums, but I haven't visited any in this country, to be
Mhm.
honest.
So, which one have you visited outside Colombia, or have you
Mm-mm.
seen?
No, no. But the well, to say that is that the only museum I'm interested in is the I don't know how to pronounce, but it's the museum that is Louvre in France.
Jonathan, okay, let's change the topic. Please describe an important party or celebration.
Important
Whatever.
party celebration. Okay. Uh, well, one of them is I like to be in, and that is in Japan. That is the Sakura Fair.
Mhm.
Sakura is a species of flower that is located in Japan. It's a tree that is called Sakura, and the flower is pink, and they always celebrate when the fall is coming, and those flowers start coming down, falling down, and it's a really fantastic spectacle. And well, that is a very cultural fair, and they always do a speech of kind of party, kind of a fair that consists on doing a lot of activities and wearing a famous I don't
Daniel,
know what to say. Tell
Daniel,
me.
tell us about the people who attended that party.
Well, people who attend that party, obviously, the Japanese, and they were
Uh-huh.
famous, and I don't know how to say, historical suit that is called, I don't know how, I don't remember the name. And well, they attend that party, well, that festival, it's a festival. They do some activities, for example, fish, some fish that are made of plastic,
Uh-huh.
eating typical food. Even though the night they set off firework displays,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what's more. Okay. They share experiences, they tell stories, and that is a very colorful festival. I like to visit any day, someday.
Okay, Jonathan, good. Two more questions
That,
questions to finish. Jonathan, sometimes people in Colombia, generally, when they're invited to a party, they go too late. Okay, so why do you consider uh, this motive for that people who doesn't like to go in time to the parties? Most of them go late.
okay, teacher.
Do you
Excuse
have any
me.
message for that kind of people?
Yeah, but okay. Uh, well, that is an habit Colombians have, and
A
we
bad
always
habit?
think. Yeah, it's a habit. We'll be thinking that the other person is gonna get late. We'll be wonder, why do I need to get early if that person is gonna get late? I don't need to be early there because I'm gonna be alone. I need to wait for a long time. And we suppose the other person is gonna be late, and we try to do the same. And even in this country, we need to arrange an hour late, an hour before, so that people who are invited get on time. We need to say, oh yeah, the party is gonna be another time that is before the real time the party is gonna start, so that the person gets, especially at that time. At this,
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm sorry, Daniel.
Daniel,
Sorry.
Daniel, yeah,
Daniel, thank you, JD. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
thanks.
Hey guys, you did a meaningful job, a meaningful work, not only in this encounter, but also from the first encounter. You are very active participants. Okay, my congratulations. So what I should say, uh, Jonathan, easy to explain or develop your ideas. You do it properly. JD, great pronunciation and you are fluent in English. Daniel, meaningful listening comprehension and your English is fluent too. I have told you that many times. Okay, my congratulations.
Thanks.
As I said before, you have done a wonderful and amazing work in all these 8 encounters. Um, I will keep you not only in my mind, but also in the bottom of my heart. Don't worry about the grade. You were extraordinarily, you know, a meaningful job. Okay.
Thanks.
So to finish this encounter, I would like each one of you share something, any words to each other, to one another. Maybe not a final message. Yeah.
Okay.
JD, ladies first. How about your during these encounters? What would you like to tell us? But I don't want to cry tonight.
Yes, of course. Okay, teacher. I'm so grateful for all of you. I just want to say a thank you. I hope that my partners can be finished the semester with all the objectives of the different schools. I can learn of them, and thank you, teacher. Thank you so much for your patience and for your knowledge. This is all.
Jonathan,
Yes, teacher.
you
Teacher,
have something to tell us?
yeah,
Share
no,
with
yes,
us?
teacher. I really like the encounters. I really learn of them, and I find I don't know if it's a mistake or something to improve. That, for example, we need to read more or to visit places such as museums, because it's like a common question that I have heard in a lot of in examinations. So we sometimes don't visit that kind of places, so we need to get familiarized, because maybe we have the words but maybe we don't have the knowledge. So I have learned a lot of things in these encounters that I will put into practice in my life.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, Buddy. Daniel, you're smiling tonight.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. This encounter was really meaningful, and I'm really grateful to all of you. Um, I didn't had a teacher who spoke British English, and that was really great to understand you, your accent. Um, I also want to thank all of you because I'm not used to having this. Well, we all not used to have this kind of encounters and share ideas on knowledge. I learned a lot from you. Your topics, you know a lot of things, a lot of stuff and vocabulary, and wow, that was a really great experience. The only advice I want you to know is that, well, I learned that, okay. I've been hearing a lot of this word. Uh, I'm gonna give you some advices. Remember that advices is not correct because advice is an
Advice,
uncountable noun.
advice. Advice,
Advice.
yeah.
Advice is an uncountable noun. For that thing, I
Yeah,
always use pieces of advice or some advice. And remember that, or use suggestions.
yeah, like furniture. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks.
Okay, guys. It was a pleasure to share with you all this encounter. I have a dream. I would like to see or to meet one of you in person, face to face, to say, for example, hello, JD, or Jonathan. You're in Bogota. Do you remember George? Okay. Or Daniel. How's it going? Okay. And to talk for a while. Okay, guys, this is all for tonight. Please, best wishes and try to do your best every day, every minute. Ciao.
Yeah, teacher,
Thank you so
thank
much, teacher. Your lessons.
Okay. Okay. Good night. Good night, JD. Good night, Jonathan. Good
Good night.
night,
Good
Daniel.
night. Good night, teacher.